In this video, let us see how to Dockerize a Flask project. This is the Flask project that we're gonna Dockerize. It is a online IDE that we have developed. If you want to see the demo of this project, let's print a hello message here. Print hello world. Click on run button. It will display the hello world. You can run any Python code here that will display the output in the browser itself. For example, if you want to print the star pattern, let me print the star for the number of times. And if you click on the run button, you can see that we get a star pattern in the browser itself. Let us see how to Dockerize this Flask online IDE. To do that, we need to install the Docker desktop. Just open a new tab and type Docker desktop and click on the first result. Docker available for all the OS. If you are using Windows, download the Docker desktop for Windows. I am using the Linux. I have already installed that. If you are using the Windows, just download this version. It also available for Mac. After you download the Docker, if you want to verify if Docker is installed or not, if you type Docker, you will get a message something similar to this. If you get a message like this, that means you have successfully installed the Docker into your machine. After you install the Docker in your machine, just continue watch the video. We need to create a Docker file so that with the help of the Docker file, we can build the Docker image. So this is my project file. So you can see that this is the app.py Flask code. Here we need to create a Docker file. For that, let me create a file. The file name should be Dockerfile. The D should be capital and the file don't have any extension. Here we need to select the base file. For that, we're gonna use we have to use the Python 3.10 and we're gonna use the Alpine version. So this is the base image that we're gonna use. You can use any base version. There are many base versions available out there, but we will stick to this. This is the Python base version that we're gonna use. After that, we need to create a folder inside the Docker base image that we have defined here. We're gonna create a app folder inside the Docker. We need to copy all the files from the current directory to the app folder that we have created. The dot represents all the files in the current directory. We will copy all the files to the app folder. After we copy all the files from the current directory to the Docker folder, we need to install the requirements. For the run pip install -r requirements.txt file. Make sure you type the requirements correctly. If you type it wrong, then the requirements file will not be installed. Here you can see that this is my requirement file. For now I have these two requirements, Flask and the Guinicon. After you install all the requirements, we need to expose the port that the Flask is running on. Here in the app.py file, you can see that we need to define the port equal to, I'm gonna run the Flask on the port 8080 and also define the host. Host is very important here. If you don't define the host, then you can't access the Docker application outside the Docker container. Make sure you define the host to 0.0.0. Then only you can access the Flask application outside the Docker container. After you added the port and the host, you can expose the port that you have defined here. So this is the port that we're gonna expose. Inside the Docker file, we're gonna export the port 8080. After that, we're gonna run the app.py file. For that cmd, this will take a list of commands. The first one is the Python. The second one is the file that we wanna run. We wanna run the app.py file to start the Flask server. So this is the app.py file. To run it, then only the Flask server will be started. So this is it. This is the Docker file that we will use to build the Docker image. So let me open the terminal in the project folder. If you are using the Windows, open the command prompt in the project folder. I'm gonna open a terminal here. So make sure you open the terminal or command prompt in the project folder. After that, let's verify if the Docker is installed or not. If you type Docker, then you will get a message similar to this. Now I have Docker already installed. Let me clear the screen. We need to build the Docker image. For that, type Docker build -t. -t stands for the tag. We need to give a tag for our Docker. Tag is similar to the name. Tag should be followed by your Docker Hub username. For this, you need to have your account on the Docker Hub. For that, let's open up a new tab and type Docker Hub. Let's open up this website. If you don't have your account, just click on sign up to create your account. The procedure is very simple. Just provide your username, email and the password. I already have your account, so I will log in using my credentials. After that, just go to the profile. Let me select my profile. So this is my username. So let me copy that username. Let me open up the terminal. The tag should be followed by my Docker Hub username. Then give your name for your Docker Docker image, in this case IDLE, and give you a version. If you don't provide the version, the Docker will defaultly select the latest version. But here we will provide 0.01. This is our initial version. And after that, we're gonna provide the project files that we wanna run. In this case, we're gonna build all the project files in the current folder. That's why I have provided the dot. After that, this is the command to build the Docker image. Let's press enter. As you can see, it's installing the requirements.txt file. You can see that here. For the first time, it will take some time. Now the Docker image has been built successfully. If you type Docker images ls, Docker image ls, you can see that we have created this Docker image 9 seconds ago. You can see that on the creator tab. 9 seconds ago, we have created this Docker image. Let me clear the screen. If you want to run the Docker image, Docker run on the port that we have exposed is the 8080, and the port that we want to map it to the machine that we are working on. Here, this is the port number that we have exposed. So we want to use this port, and this is a port that we have provided in the app.py file also. So we will have to export this port, and the port that we want to map it to the machine is the, you can type any port here. So let's stick it to 8080 also. Now provide the Docker image that we have built. Combination kp /IDE, and the version is the 0.001. This is the version. This is the initial version. After you got any update, you can increase the version number and press enter. As you can see, now the Docker has been started. You can see that the Flask server is started. If you click on this link, you can see that we have successfully Dockerized the Flask application. You can run the Python command here. Let's click on run. You can see that now we get a message, hello. You can run any Python code here. So this is how you Dockerize a Flask application. You can see that we get a message. Here you can see all the status of your Docker image. If you don't want to see any updates here, you can run the Docker image in the detached mode. For the Docker, first let's check what are the containers are running. Here you can see that we have a running container. We need to stop the container. For that, let me copy that container ID and paste it here. Now the current Docker image has been stopped. So let me clear the screen. If you want to run the Docker in a detached mode, we're gonna type Docker run port is the 8080 and type -d. This will run the Docker image in a detached mode. You won't see any updates. So let me run the Docker now. You can see that now the Docker has been started, but you won't see the message Docker Flask server is started. But when you go to the Flask server on the port, you can see that even after a refresh, I still access to this Flask application. Let's see if Python commands works now. As you can see, we still get a message hello world. You can type any Python code here that will work. If you use the Docker image ls command, we have to stop that image. So let me stop that. If you want to stop any Docker container, you have to use Docker stop and the image ID. Now the Docker image has been stopped. So now we have a Dockerize our Flask application, right? If you want to push the Docker image to the Docker Hub, here you can see that in my Docker Hub account, you can see we have only 3 Docker images. Let us see how to upload our recently created Docker image. For that, first we need to log in. Docker login. Here you can see that we get a message login succeeded. I have already logged in, that's why I get a message login succeeded. But when you log in for the first time, it will ask you to enter your username and the password. After you give your username and the password, you will log in successfully. After you log in, then we need to push the Docker image to the Docker. For that, just type Docker push, and the name of the image is the combination kp /IDE, and the version is the 0.01. This is the version that we have built. As you can see, it starts pushing our Docker image to the Docker Hub. So if you don't know how to log in using the credentials, so let me show you the quick demo while the Docker is up. Push to the Docker Hub. So just click on the profile and select account settings. Here you will have your option called the personal access token. Click on the personal access token, and you need to generate the access token to log in using to the Docker app. Give a name for your access token. In this case, upload part 2, and change the access permission to read, write and delete and click on generate. Here you will get a command like docker login. So let's copy that command and paste that. So we need to enter the password. For the password, just copy this access token and paste the access token here. Now you should be able to log into the Docker app. Consider we get a message login success. This is how you log into the Docker app. Now the image has been pushed successfully. Let's go to the home page now. So let me go to the my profile. Here you can see that the Docker image has been pushed successfully. Here you can see that if you want to see the tags, so this is the latest version that we have pushed. You can see it created a minute ago and the size of this Docker image is 27 MBs. If you want to see the digest, click on that. Now anyone can pull this Docker image and run it into their own computer. So this is how you Dockerize a Flask application. So this is for this video and I will continue in the next one.